Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you ready for another chapter?
Let's try.
Let's try?
Yes.
Okay. So we continue reading?
Yes. Please.
Okay. So we had stopped with, and these days it's the colors from yellow to orange to red that make me feel good. Even the national flag of the country that welcomed me so kindly is yellow and red. My father's greatness is sealed for me by his words during my parents' divorce process, which took place when I was 14 years old. My mother, as well as my father, had applied for custody of me, their only minor child. The judge asked my parents to bring me to the next court date so that I could decide in front of my parents, and the judge which of the two I would rather... That's a complicated sentence, I'll start again.
Try again.
The judge asked my parents to bring me to the next court date so that I could decide in front of my parents and the judge which of the two I would rather live with.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, it's clear. My father's words were, I will not allow my son to have to decide before his mother or his father which of the two he wants to leave behind. I waive my custody rights. My son stays with his mother. It's very
You see? A man.
loving.
A man.
Yeah.
Hmm?
My family pretended to be rich. They were able to do this for a while until our car replacement store started to stop working and money started to go missing everywhere. But the owner of our house, one of the neighbors, was really rich. Our street was named after him, and his house was like an English country house with a garden at the front door and a park behind the house.
Klusmannstraße.
So named after his family, not after him specifically.
Oh, his family name,
Yes.
Klusmann. The street was Klusmannstraße.
Huh. This park was surrounded by a 3-meter-high wall covered in broken glass that was to make the work more difficult for any intruders. The park had old, large trees, well-kept paths, flower beds, and part of it was used as a vegetable garden. In one corner of the property there was an old, half-broken wooden shed. As our little hands could fit between the broken glass, we were able to climb the garden wall and spend hours, often in the afternoon, in the wooden cabin. Proud and happy that the maids who were working in the garden never noticed us. To them, we seemed invisible. We used to climb into a lot of gardens too. There's a joy in that, right? Not destroying anything.
No. Just
Maybe-
by being there,
Yeah.
hidden.
Maybe even making it more beautiful, like a little secret place. That's back to the creativity and imagination that children have, no? Yeah.
Well, what are we going to do now on our ground? To make that tiny little hut there, no?
Yes.
Playing, in Spain you say, jugando a las casillas. So
Playing
you make
house.
They're playing house, no?
Yeah.
There are little dolls, and in our case it was Indians and cowboys. As you can see the tipi behind, that's where I'm sleeping.
Yeah, when you magically make yourself
Yes,
small
yes,
and
yes,
jump in
yes,
there
yes, yes.
every night.
Yes.
Yeah. And for siesta, of course.
And for siesta.
Yes. Do you share the space with a cat?
No.
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 Okay.
That would be too warm.
Mhm. I was only allowed into this wealthy family's house 3 times. Everything there was evidence of prosperity. The furniture, the curved staircase that led up to the first floor, the paintings, the clothes of the servants, and last but not least, the piano that stood in the large salon. Perhaps in memory of this feeling of prosperity and well-being, I have a piano in my living room these days. Although I have never learned to play a piano, it makes me happy to see this instrument, even if it is not a well-known brand. I found a very well-imitated sticker, and it gives my piano the quality it needs. Steinway & Sons. Most of my visitors remark admiringly when they come into my apartment, "Oh, a Steinway." I was one of them. Maybe I didn't say it out loud, but I definitely thought it. I was like, "Oh, fancy."
I say about the girl that came there?
Yeah,
It's written?
no.
So a girl came and she knew how to play piano. And I said, okay, play it. And she started to play and she really knew it was beautiful. And I said, how does it feel to play this piano? How does it sound? She said, of course it sounds very good. It's a Steinway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she believed it.
Perhaps she played better.
On a Steinway.
Yes.
That is how we are suggestible. That is hypnosis. You are very firm. You say it's that. The person will believe it.
Yeah, I read.
Like Darren Brown, no?
Mm-hmm.
When they went to bet, no, for the horses. What you do there?
Horse betting. You
Huh?
bet on
You
bet
bet?
on the horses. Yes.
And he said to the guy, let's find out the horse that for sure will not win. So they took one horse and they put a lot of money on the name of that horse, and then he said to the guy, now you go, of course the horse was losing, and you go with your ticket and you knock at the window and said, I have the winning ticket, give me my money. And they gave him the money.
Even though he didn't have the winning ticket.
No chance. And just, it's there.
It's that, yeah.
No, there was a gang in America robbing the banks without any violence, not just going in and saying, give me the money. And they would do. No, that's more extreme, but what we all are doing, I mean, we are buying all the products, so they make advertisement, and it's just the same system. Repeating, and you will do that. It settles here, and you will. So, who are you? Who are we? We really have a free choice, or we are just obeying some suggestions from somewhere? That's very questionable. No.
Another thing we cannot know. At that time in Hanover, one of my cousins lived in our house. He had learned to play the violin, and every now and then he would take out his violin and start playing music. As soon as I heard the sound of the violin, I stopped breathing. My whole body turned blue or black, and then I lost consciousness. Neither my parents nor the doctor nor I could find a reason for this. The only thing we could do was to ask my cousin to stop playing the violin, at least when I was at home. It wasn't until I was over 60 that I discovered what could possibly be the reason for this strange process. But more on that later.
Right there now?
There now.
Nah,
I don't know if it comes in this chapter. I really don't know.
No, it's coming much later.
Okay, so you tell. Yes.
So, what happened? I made a supposed past life regression online. I never know one hypnotized me, but I said, okay, I will go into that, and it worked. And I saw myself as a maybe 12-year-old young Native American Indian. And then that lady, the hypnotist, said, now look around, what are you seeing there? And I saw a teepee with an old man sitting in front of the teepee talking to a woman. And for me, I was inside of the body of that young boy. It was clear that I was also the old man. It was like saying, look, that's you now, that will be you later. And that lady said, so in the next days or dreams, you will receive more information about the visions you had. And the same night, I had a dream, and in the dream came up the name Oglala Sioux tribe. And I never heard before that name Oglala. I heard Sioux, but never Oglala. So in the morning I went on Google, images Oglala Sioux, and there was the young boy that I had supposedly been inside of that young boy. And there was also the old man. And the old man was a shaman or a medicine man from their tribe. So in that moment I tried to figure out past life. There could be something real, it could be real, not. And so I found a book that someone wrote about Black Elk, the shaman. And in his book he said, when the white men attacked us and there were very few warriors left to defend our camp, we constructed a whistle to give a sign to the women and the children to run away, and that whistle sounded very similar to a violin. Strange coincidence. Maybe, we don't know, but it was strange. Another thing that the man said in his book, and that is quite interesting for all these people who believe that they can save the world and they can really do something here. what you can save is your own environment. More you cannot do. He said, what I never understood is after all the visions I had in my life that I was not able to save my people. Because they were all destroyed. So yeah, he was supposedly very spiritual, he had all these visions, he was quite connected, but whatever has to happen comes from there, not from you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to do.
Just to come back to the violin and the musical instrument, just to make it really clear what could be, how did you put it? I discovered what could possibly be the reason for the strange process. So if we believe in past lives...
If there would be a past life, what that gave to me, the past life, this supposed past life, gave to me that I was doubting always about this ability that I have to heal or help people. I was doubting up to 60 years about that. I did not feel comfortable. But when I read the book, it came to me, so maybe it's not something new, it's not just you, Thomas, that you earned that in some way, or you did something for it to have it. No, maybe it's coming from behind, and so that gave me a little bit more confidence in that.
Yes.
Counting that it might be or might be not. We don't know, no one knows that.
And the specific example with the violin is that the sound that the warriors, the fighters were making to alarm the women and children to run away.
Everything
that
is
the
lost,
sound.
everything is lost. Go,
Yeah.
hide. We cannot defend you or our camp any longer.
So
it was a very sad situation. So hearing that sound could be triggered in me that I stopped breathing and I fell on the ground.
Yeah.
Could be.
We don't know. Okay. Even before our business was finally ruined and my parents divorced, my mother, Uncle Hu and I often began spending weekends in a small house that was part of a large farm about 40 miles from Hanover. A huge farm with old, impressive natural stone buildings, endless fields and lots of forest. The little house was a farmer's worker's house. Uncle Hu had rented it. In Hanover, I spent a lot of time outdoors, outside the city, in the fantastic surroundings of rivers, streams and lakes with tiny islands. We built rafts to get to the islands or hunted partridges with bows and arrows. I always belonged to a group of friends who were all younger or older than me. When they were younger, I was their leader. I enjoyed being a fair and good leader, putting myself through trials and then asking my friends to do the same. When my friends were older, I became the student, the apprentice. I liked that too, to follow the wishes of my superiors and to feel safe and comfortable in their presence.
Look, one of the trials was we were playing to be knights of the Middle Ages, and we had a helmet, a plastic helmet with all the sword and the shield and everything, but the helmet was too small. So the thread was they tied you somewhere, put the helmet on you, and then they were hitting on the helmet.
To make it fit on your
I
head.
said, okay, me first. I do, and then you all will do it.
It's a little bit what you did with your old hat.
Yeah, more or less.
Some things keep coming back, no?
But then they were playing when I was not there. And maybe they wanted to imitate that. And they took a young boy on a tiny little bicycle. Maybe the boy was 7 years old. And they tied a rope to his neck. And they said, now you come and you go with your bicycle full speed. And he did. And of course in one moment the rope, it was tied to a tree. It was over that guy. He was lucky that he survived. It was all open, the neck. Big scandal, the parents, everyone. So they shouldn't play that when I'm not there.
No, they need you. We will come to that also later, what else can happen. Here in our weekend house, I was outdoors. The house stood alone, surrounded by a garden, fields, trees and bushes. The farmhouse was about 300 meters away. The owners lived there in their beautiful natural stone house, and a worker family also lived in one of the smaller houses. This family included 8 children, later 10. 2 boys my age, a girl a little older than me, and several girls all smaller and younger. The mother worked on the farm, and there was also an uncle who was the father of some of these children. This uncle was a truck driver and often came home late at night or sometimes just on weekends. Crazy times, huh? We're talking about the 60s or something like that. Now I was about 10 years old. During one of the weekends we spent at the farm, something strange happened. Something I couldn't explain, and later none of the adults tried to tell me what had happened there. We were playing hide and seek with several children, and there was a truck bed leaning against the wall of one of the farm buildings.
Like that. That is the wall, and that thing was leaning like that,
Yes.
with the empty part towards the wall.
To create more
So
weight.
here no, just it was standing there. And so here on this side, looking to us, were all these big iron beams to fix it on that truck, and it was made of very heavy wood. It was hundreds of kilos, that thing.
This belonged to a tractor, was made of wood and metal, and weighed around 200 kilograms. On the side of this bed that faced us kids were all the heavy iron rails that were used to secure the frame to the tractor.
And the iron rails, they were maybe coming that much out of the wood.
Yes.
I mean, it was not an iron rail like that lady later could have saved the child. No, it was like that. So, or the iron rail hit the child, or the wood hit the child.
There's no way to be
to,
underneath and be.
No.
Yes. The iron struts were connected to each other with thick, heavy boards or wooden planks. The empty part of the truck bed leaned against the wall. We had chosen this iron and board structure as the target for our game. So we had to bang our hand against the truck bed and shout, "I saw you," or "I am free." All the neighborhood kids were gathered here. Even the youngest of them, a little girl of just 2 years old. Of course she didn't take part in our game yet, but she happily ran back and forth between us. When one of the brothers hit the truck bed to free himself, it slowly began to fall forward. Apparently it had been placed too steeply against the wall. The little girl was directly in front of the truck bed, and all of its weight fell onto the child. I can still see the scene today. As if in slow motion, I saw a few drops of blood flying through the air on either side of the heavy truck bed.
I see that now. I see it like it.
All the children ran away in fright. I just stood there, paralyzed. I slowly bent down, grabbed the wooden and metal structure with both hands, and lifted it up. High enough to call one of the bigger boys. "Quickly, pull your sister out from under the truck bed." The boy threw himself on the floor, reached his arm under this heavy frame, and pulled the small child towards him. After the girl was freed, I put the heavy load back on the ground. But I accidentally placed this enormous wooden box on one of my feet.
That was a little bit painful. And I couldn't take my feet off.
And that hurt a lot. When I tried to lift the truck bed again to free my foot, I was unable to lift the heavy weight. My friends, who had gradually returned, had to summon several adults to help me free my foot. The little girl was taken to a doctor in the village. She was fine. Only a few scratches that left no scars were evidence of the accident she had just suffered. What happened there? In the moment,
you are out of your mind. It means out of your mind. Your mind is not working. Your subconscious mind takes over. In subconscious mind, you can turn a car around. You can do whatever. There's in hypnosis, for example, they make a joke, no? There's a hypnotist on the street, and a young girl said, "You want to get hypnotized?" "Oh yeah, I never had. I would like to experience that." So he hypnotizes the girl, and then he said, "Okay, put your hand on the wall." And he said to her, "Look how strange, something very strange has happened. You cannot take your hand off the wall. It's not
stuck.
this way. Try. The more you try, the more it will get stuck to the wall." And she was standing there, and there was no way to take her hand off. And then there was a very strong guy, And the hypnotist called the guy, said, could you please help her to take the head off? Impossible.
So he tried to pull on the hand to move it from nothing,
no way,
not happening.
No way. The subconscious mind can do whatever it wants. And it's much stronger than that guy. And we should know these things. We should work with these things. We should become aware how wonderful, how great we are, what great possibilities we have. No, but normally everyone is afraid of that. They say, no, hypnosis, they will
control me.
Control
I will lose
you,
control.
No, and, like brainwashing. No, brainwashing is something else. Yeah. And anyway, they do every day with TV, brainwashing. So there you are not concerned about it. No, but you could use it for something positive.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
No, if you have a little child at school, and the child does not want to run the races or make sports, because he normally is always losing, and so you put that guy into trance, and then you tell him the nice story and say, now you're standing there, how you feel? You feel good, you feel very good. And you become aware now, winning the game is not to reach the goal, the first person. Winning is just to standing here and you start it. That is already winning it. And the boy will go next time and run the race. So we could do a lot of things, help a lot of people, just to give them more self-esteem and more confidence in themselves and in their lives, in life in general.
Yeah, in the work that we are doing, it's becoming so clear that it is really quite a simple but very effective process that we can go through to really help people overcome their challenges.
But we don't want. We human beings don't want. You remember you had a session and there were 500 spirit guides sitting there.
Yes.
And they said to you, look, Lena, we are all completely bored. We are here to help you human beings, but you don't want, you don't give permission. And if you do not give permission, we cannot help.
Yeah. Well, so it's just like for us, no? Don't ever help anyone who's not asking for help.
Because you cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot.
You need to be in the ready state of mind to say,
you
I
have
want
to give
change.
Permission. If not, it will not happen.
Yeah.
Okay?
So this was the end of the first chapter, and I suppose
that's it.
We could finish here for today.
We finish here for today.
Next time we come to
but
from
now
the city
I have
to the
do
countryside.
something because we have last time we showed the skinny beast, and this time I will show
the big beast,
not so skinny beast, our loving pigly. So
can I ask you a question before that?
Yes. My name is Thomas Gottwald, if you want to ask that.
Nice to meet you. No, you're talking here about something really incredible. Like incredible that you did or that was possible
I did.
for you.
It's
Is
true.
that the first that you remember from your life?
Maybe the first big shot.
Big impact.
No, maybe there were other things that I remember. I see it. No?
And then you said 10. Okay. And you said until I was 60 years old, I did not really accept this.
That's a lie because I'm still not 60 years old.
Ah.
You see? I made it up.
Okay.
Yes or no? Maybe. No, until
so
60 years I did these things. They happened next to me. I was observing that. But I had not the courage really to do. Someone would come and would say, my hand is paining and I would say, well, what can we do? And then maybe the person would go out, and when the person was not in front of me, then I would do what I had to do, and maybe would help the person. But now in our days, just to tell something recently, or maybe 1 year or 1.5 years ago, I came to buy in the supermarket in Lidl, and I was just at the point to pay. And suddenly people, wow, help, call the police, call an ambulance, and blah, blah, blah. So I asked the girl from the cash box there to okay, take care of my
groceries.
and I went in and there was a man lying on the floor, some people standing around him. He was bleeding from his mouth and his nose, and one wonderful lady was there putting her hand on him and saying, calm down, they will come, they will do whatever they have to do, blah blah blah. But then I went and I put my hand on him, and after 1 or 2 minutes the man stood up. Meanwhile police had arrived in an ambulance. The man stood up, looked like a little bit dizzy, and then he walked out of Lidl, and the people from the ambulance came and said, no, come on, will you come with us to the hospital? I said, no, I don't need a hospital. So now in our days I would go.
You will be proactively saying,
I try.
Yeah.
Because maybe it will not happen. No, and then I remember when I stood up, the man stood up, and I stood up. The woman who had her hand on him, she was standing a little bit far away, and I crossed with her, and tears were coming out of my eyes, and I looked at her, and I said, thank you for what you have done. So, but now I feel more confident with that. Before, maybe I wouldn't. It just happened, and I was observing. No, but not actively going into it. So, but little by little, I learned. No? I mean, I saw it happening again and again and again and again and again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now you want to show the
the
sleeping monster beauty?
The monster. Let's see. You tell me when the
Danke.
monster.
Come here. Come on.
No, let her. That was so nice. She was down there. Where is she? Look, there's a monster. That is a back part of the monster.
There.
It is. Danke.
Ay.
Look.
Ay, Janquita. ¿Qué pasa? Not particularly interested in being recorded.
No.
Okay. Good night.
Okay, now you switch it on.
Say arrivederci.
Oh.